What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JJD TV. I'm your host, Josh, and today we're in for a fun episode. Today we're going to take a look at the 2020-2021 Bundesliga predictions. I'm going to go through all the 18 teams. I'm going to place them where I think they may finish in the season, give you a little reasoning for that, and you guys can let me know in the comments down below if you agree, disagree. I'm not saying that I'm going to be right. I'm just going to take my best judgment and see what we can do here. So, we're going to start off at the bottom of the league. Who I think is going to finish in 18th place is the team that just came right back up. They won Bundesliga 2, Arminia Bielefeld. And the reason I think that they're going down is just I don't know an awful lot about the team. They've obviously been in Bundesliga 2 for a while. They haven't really weren't a team someone last year would have probably put money down to come back up to the Bundesliga. I would have assumed Stuttgart, Hanover, Hamburg would have been the favorites, but they surprised a lot of people, and congrats to them, and they're up here. I just unfortunately don't think they have enough in their team to really stay. I don't think they're, because of obviously COVID and some transfer restrictions, you're going to be able to dip into the market quite a bit, and I think they're going to have a very similar team to the team they had last year. I thought the same about Union Berlin, and they surprised me, and I would have picked them to get relegated, and they stayed up. So I don't really know, but I just taken a wild guess that they're probably going to finish in the bottom of the table just because I don't think they have that team depth to really have any type of push. Looking at 17th, the other automatic relegation spot, I'm going to put Augsburg. I think Augsburg's been flirting with relegation for a few years now. I don't think they have a lot in them. They're kind of a team that will have a few surprise results throughout the year and then have a couple games where they just get blown out of the water. And I think they've been able to balance a few performances season to season to be able to stay up. But I think that this is the season. This is a season that it's just not going to be enough, and they're going to get relegated and go back after a nice stay up in the Bundesliga, but I think they're going to return down to Bundesliga 2. And taking a look at the 16th place team, the team that I think is going to go into a relegation battle with the 3rd place team from Bundesliga 2 is Mainz. And similar to Augsburg, they've been flirting with relegation for the past few years, and there's just something about Mainz, if anyone who've obviously followed them the last few years, where kind of like Augsburg, they just get blown out from time to time. They just have had some pretty poor results, and if they're not able to string it together, and I think this Bundesliga season is going to be a little bit more competitive, I just don't see them having enough depth, especially they get some of their good players who obviously had good seasons last year plucked away from them. I think this is probably one of their seasons as well, that they're going to go in a relegation battle. And if it helps, I think they'll probably win their relegation battle. Even though I don't know who they're going to play, I think that they're going to stay in the Bundesliga. They're just going to have to go through a relegation battle. Looking at the 15th place, safety, I put Union Berlin. I was wrong to doubt them last year. I would have picked them in dead last 18th place, and they obviously surprised us with a great season. I think there's a lot of collective just group there, and they just are able to gel off each other, and they had a very good season last year, which I think surprised a lot of people who probably would have placed money on that team, and I don't really want to doubt them. I don't think they're going to quite be able to replicate last year's season, but I think that they're going to have a decent season, and they're going to fight off relegation and be in the Bundesliga for another season. Looking at the 14th place spot, I put Stuttgart. I think Stuttgart had a great season in Bundesliga 2, finishing 2nd place. There's some rumors with some of their players being taken away, obviously, and Mario Gomez retired, so I still think they're going to be able to replenish some of their squad, and I just like the way that they played last year, and I feel like they're going to have a little bit more to play for, kind of like Union Berlin last year, how they surprised a few people. I'm going to put Stuttgart more as my surprise package and say that they're going to be safe for another Bundesliga season. And looking in 13th place, another safe season, I'm going to put Cologne. I think Cologne, with good goaltending from Horn, as well as their talisman, Jonas Hector, being able to play through the middle, sometimes on left back, and I think Anthony Modeste is more in for a more goal-scoring season this year. I think they're going to be able to have enough this year to have a decent Bundesliga stay. They had a pretty good season last year. Modeste, I think a lot of people are expecting a little more input from him. I don't think he had a great season last year, but I think he's coming in to prove some doubters wrong this season, and I'm expecting a little bit more from him. I think Cologne just have a little bit more depth to the team than the teams I just mentioned, and I think that they're in for a relatively safe season. And in 12th place, I'm going to put Werder Bremen. I know that a lot of you guys are probably wondering that I put them relatively high, considering they just fought off a relegation battle last year, but I think watching them towards the tail end of last year and seeing just the team spirit in them to be able to, like, they were dead and buried. They were going down, and it would have been a shame for a team of their pedigree to go down to the Bundesliga 2, but seeing that fight back and and just everyone fighting for each other and being able to stay up in the Bundesliga was fantastic to watch. I think they are going to have to take a good hard look at each other and wonder like that was ridiculous. That should never been the case. We should be higher up. And I think it looked like Milo Ranić was leaving. Maybe Leipzig was interested, maybe he wasn't, but it kind of looks like he may stay. And if he does, I think he's in for a big season as well. I think that Davy Claessy is just a fantastic captain of that team. I think that they have enough to be able to stay up, and I think with the disappointing season of last year will push them into a bit more of a mid-table position. Looking at 11th place, I put Freiburg. I know that they had a couple good seasons back-to-back, but losing their top goal scorer over to Benfica is just a way to really kick a team, and I just don't think that they're going to be able to replicate some of the good past seasons they have. I don't think they're going to be anywhere near the relegation battle, but I think that an 11th place finish, give or take a couple places, is probably where I see them. Looking at 10th place is we're going to put Schalke. And obviously our arch rival, you like putting them in a 10th place spot, not even the top half of the table. But I don't think Schalke has shown anyone anything that they could do much higher. I think David Wagner had a decent start to the season, and then it just club record lows, and it was just awful to watch. And I just think Weston McKennie's going to probably get taken from that team, and they don't really play as a team. From what I've seen from Schalke, it was a tough season for their supporters to watch. I see them being a little more consistent this year, but nothing to convince me that they deserve to be near the top half of the table. And in 9th place, I'm putting Eintracht Frankfurt. I think they're in for a much more consistent season. We know that they obviously won the cup over Kovac a few years ago. Had a bit of a disappointing season last year. Did enough obviously to fight off relegation for a mid-ish table finish, but I think Andre Silva's in for a bigger season this year. I really like Andre Silva. I rate him pretty highly. I thought he did so many good things over at Porto. Deserved that move. Maybe it was a little early for him to go to Milan. Didn't quite work out, but I think he's finding his legs here at Frankfurt. I think he's in for a bigger season. Looks like they're going to hang on to most of the big guys there, and I don't see them quite pushing for a Europa League spot, but a pretty healthy 9th place is where I'm going to put them. And in 8th place, I'm going to put Hertha Berlin. Hertha Berlin obviously has spent a lot of money over the past little bit, and they had a kind of poor season considering some of the type of the players they brought in, but Mateus Cunha was obviously a very positive one to see there. He was playing all over the front. He was playing on the left, right, through the middle. I think they have a lot of depth in that team. It looks like they'll probably dip into the transfer market a little bit too, but I still think there's a little inconsistency from them to be able to put them in a Europa League spot. I was really pondering with that 7th place, but I just decided with some of the inconsistent performance they had last year that I think they're going to improve on last season, but not quite ready for Europe. Looking at 7th place, I put Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim obviously demolished us the last game of the season 4-0. It was a very poor way to end the season, but it just kind of shows how Hoffenheim was playing. Andre Kramaric scored 4. He's been looking very good of late, and I'm going to put them in another Europa League spot. I think that they just have the depth. I think they're playing well. They have that 3-4-1-2 type formation that they like to play with the wing backs, and really works for them. And I rate their team pretty highly right now, as considering what they've turned themselves into. But I think they're going to go for that 7th place Europa League spot. Taking a look at 6th place, we're going to put Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg obviously had a tough end to the season, gave away that automatic Europa League spot for just the Europa League qualification in 7th. But I think Wolfsburg team is pretty enjoyable to watch. I like seeing the 3-4-3 attacking style they have. And obviously they have a good talisman up front, John Brooks and company at the back. Jeremy Rousselon as well stood out to me last year. It'd be interesting to see if they are able to keep everyone. And seeing Brekalo out on the wing, they have a fun team. But again, with Wolfsburg, it's always about the consistency where, I mean, maybe it's just because it's Bayern Munich, but they usually get crushed once or twice throughout the season. But I'm thinking a little more stable this season. I think just the team in general has been together for a little bit now, and I think they're going to be able to get up there, and a 6th place finish is where I'm going to put them. Taking a look at 5th place, I got Borussia Mönchengladbach, and they surprised me last year to sneak in that Champions League spot. Wasn't quite expecting that, but I don't think they're going to be able to replicate it. I think what Peter Bosch is doing with Bayern Leverkusen and the other 3 big ones are going to be able to get in those top 4. So I'm going to say with the Champions League football that now Gladbach's playing this year, as well as probably losing 1 or 2 players, not fully be able to replace them, I'm going to put them just shy of a Champions League spot in that Europa League spot in 5th place. Looking at the top 4, in 4th place, getting the final Champions League spot, I'm going to put Peter Bosch's Bayern Leverkusen. Obviously, Peter Bosch didn't do very good with us when he took charge of Borussia Dortmund after that fantastic start, followed by just a capitulation. Honestly, there's no really word to describe what happened to that team that year, but I think he's found his legs again and he's doing great things at Leverkusen. Kai Havertz is probably going to get signed by Chelsea. I just don't think that they're going to be able to replace him quite as they will, but I do believe that they still have a lot of talent front. I think Kevin Volland, Jonathan Tah, I just think they have a lot to that team, and I think with the big money that they're going to get from Havertz, they'll probably find more of a box-to-box midfielder, be able to play in that 3-4-3 or 4-3-3 that Bosch likes playing with, and I think they're going to be able to roll on, and with the Europa League football, kind of relax a little bit more in Europe and focus a little bit more on the season, and I'm going to put them in that 4th place position. Looking at 3rd, same as last year, I'm going to put Leipzig. I think losing Timo Werner obviously is going to hurt them, but Nagelsmann is just shown that he's a little tactician and he's going to be able to get this team playing how they need to play. I think they're going to probably sign a replacement. I mean, they signed the young man over from Salzburg, and they'll probably pick a few more from Salzburg, knowing how Leipzig likes to do business. But there's so much fun to watch Leipzig. I don't see them slipping, even losing a player like Timo Werner. There's 28 goals that got plucked from the team, but I think just collectively, even Paulson up front now as well will probably get a little bit more of a better season, considering last season wasn't fantastic for him. I just see the consistency in the team year to year. I'm just going to place them in a 3rd place Champions League finish. Taking a look at 2nd place, it is a debate, obviously, considering I am a Dortmund fan. If you would have asked me this question at the start of last year, I would have picked Dortmund to win the league. After signing Julian Brandt, Hazard, and Schultz, I thought that was exactly what we needed. Hummels as well to win the league. But unfortunately for this year, I'm going to put Dortmund in that 2nd place. I think it's going to be, especially if we hold on to Sancho, I think we'll be able to do more of a push for Munich. But it's going to be tough. Bayern Munich is just an animal in this league. It sucks. There's nothing I want more than to watch Dortmund win. The 2019 season broke my heart. I was surprised. I wasn't expecting them to win that year, but they came so close. Last year I was expecting them to win. Didn't really come close. I don't fully know what to expect from Dortmund for the upcoming season. I'm going to be here obviously to cover of what I think they need to do to pinch Bayern for the league title, but for right now I'm going to put them in 2nd place. I think they're going to have I'm hoping a more consistent season. I think seeing the young guns like Reina and Jude playing a little bit more time, as well as Hazard and Holland for a big season, I think they could surprise some people, but as a betting man right now, I'm going to put them in 2nd place. And looking at 1st place, winning the Bundesliga, unfortunately, I'm probably going to place Bayern Munich there. I think after just winning the Champions League, the way that Flick has got this team playing is sensational. They really found comfort in that 4-2-3-1. Alphonso Davies out on the left he's just so dynamic. They're able to shift, let him run wild if they want, and obviously having Lewandowski up front after having a record season last year is just, they're hard to want to put money against. If I'm putting anyone to fight them, it's our boys here, but that's just what I'm going to do. I'm just going to give you guys honest opinion. I want to not just come up and say everything that you guys want to hear about Dortmund. I'm going to be open and honest with you guys, and unfortunately, I think in the 2020-2021 winners is going to be Bayern Munich. And that's my predictions. I know that it's not the great predictions because we don't want to see Munich at the top of that table, and I'm really hoping this year is going to be a little different. I just want to be open and honest with you guys what I personally do think. I'm going to be doing that all year long, covering Dortmund, hopefully getting proven wrong and seeing the boys up on top and winning the title back. But that is it. That is my 2020-2021 Bundesliga predictions. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys agree or not. And until then, guys, I hope you guys like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you next time.